Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to walk through list cleaning and the importance of list cleaning. We're going to walk you through A to Z exactly how to do it. And I know it sounds boring, but it is absolutely pertinent if you want to make sure your deliverability isn't getting hurt and you're ultimately squeezing the juice out of your email marketing as much as you possibly can. So let me just share my screen here really quick, and I'll dive right in. So before I get started, if you don't know who I am, my name is Derek Stroh. I've helped to scale over 57 and 8-figure e-commerce brands. And my objective and my purpose of these videos is basically to make retention easy for you and ultimately help you scale your e-com store a little bit more seamlessly. So let's dive in. What is list cleaning? Cleaning and removing unengaged and inactive profiles from your list. And in order to do this, you need to do two things. Number one is you need to create a segment of unengaged profiles. And number two, you need to suppress those unengaged profiles. And we'll show you exactly how to do that here. So number one, how often do you actually clean your list? Depending on the size of your list, every 3 to 6 months is okay. The bigger the list, the more frequently you want to clean. Now, if you're just getting started, you might not have to do this until 6 months in, right? So ideally, you're doing this every 3 to 6 months. But again, you might be able to get away with every 6 months to 9 months as well. Now, why is this important? So basically, list cleaning is super important because it effectively impacts your deliverability. If you're sending to the wrong people and if you're not cleaning your list, you have a dirty list, you're going to increase your unsubscribe rates. But the main reasons that it's really, really pertinent here is to reduce those unsubscribe rates, to increase your open and click rates. Again, because you have a cleaner list, improve your sender reputation. Basically what happens is your email service provider, your ESPs use spam rates and unsubscribe rates to determine if your emails are actually classified as spam or not. Having a lot of people who are unengaged increases this risk pretty dramatically. So it's super, super important. And then also it helps you retain and engage customers on a better level. And you can also personalize that content a hell of a lot more. There's a lot more in terms of personalization and segmentation in the segmentation video, but again, this is really, really important to run through. So how do you actually identify these unengaged profiles? Basically, you can segment it out based off of this. So the condition is the person has received an email at least 10 times overall time, and they've opened an email 0 times in the last 365 days, and they've clicked an email 0 times in the last 365 days, and they are not suppressed. So this is effectively just going after those people who have really just not engaged with any of the emails, any of the 10 emails overall time, and they haven't clicked, they haven't opened, and they're not suppressed already. So this is how you do it directly in Klaviyo. If you're not sure about that, that's essentially how you do that. Now, beyond that, what is the condition here? The person has received the email at least 10 times overall time. This depends on the frequency that you send emails, right? So if you're sending 1 email a day, you should increase this number. Now, this should not be so high that includes the lowest engaged profiles because you don't want to over clean, right? You don't want this to be, you don't want to call everyone out of your email list essentially. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that this is a kind of a happy median. And the easiest way to determine this is to clone the segment and then increase the number of emails. Here, let me just fix this. It's going to bother me. Increase the number of emails by 1 each time until you see a large dip in the size of the segment. So below you can see the dip at 13 emails sent essentially. So I would use that as a segment here because you can see it goes from 1300. Here you have 817, 803, 735, and then 205. So I would use the 13 emails sent here as the kind of segment here to determine effectively like how frequently you want to cut this off. Now, there's another kind of debate here, suppress versus delete. Deleting profiles removes the data completely. Suppressing them keeps the data, but the emails will not be sent. So essentially, you should always suppress and not delete. Suppressed profiles on Klaviyo do not get billed. Suppressed profiles can also become unsuppressed if they re-engage. So if down the line, this is super important, right? If down the line, maybe they're not purchasing and they don't purchase for a year or 6 months or 9 months or whatever it might be, but then they come back, they see one of your ads and they're like, oh man, I actually wouldn't mind getting another pair of shoes or another pair of pants or another dress or whatever it is. And they re-engage, you want to make sure those people are re-added, right? And if not, if they're deleted, you're not going to be able to do that, right? So how do you actually suppress these contacts? This is the next step here. Basically, what you want to do is create a segment like the above one. So like this, essentially, to start, to suppress. You export it as a CSV. You then go into the audiences. So your audiences tab here. You go under profiles. You then look at view suppressed profiles. And there's a little button at the, should be at the top right there. And then you click upload. So you click upload file here, and then you upload that CSV. So essentially that will add all of those people, and you can see I just blocked out all the email addresses for the purpose of privacy, but essentially it'll block out all the email addresses, names, etc. And then it'll give you the reason and then when they were actually suppressed, right? So next step here is just cleaning bounces. This is a very important step as well, but there's a kind of differentiation here between a hard bounce and a soft bounce, which I'll get into in just a moment. But basically, email bounces also trigger ESPs to start sending your emails to the spam folder. This is really, really important. You don't want to end up in spam. It's very important to regularly clean these bouncing profiles as well. So a hard bounce is basically an email cannot be delivered due to a permanent reason. Right? It's misspelling, it's a fake email, something along those lines, something that cannot be fixed, essentially, unless you ultimately get the real email. Klaviyo auto suppresses those, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, the soft bounce is an email that cannot be delivered due to a temporary reason. This is not going to happen as frequently, like an inbox being full. That's rarely going to happen. But another one is email servers being down, right? Klaviyo automatically suppresses these emails that bounce more than 7 times, but it might be good to suppress at around 4, right? So here's how you create this, this kind of like soft bounce segment. Effectively, the longer you let it go, the more likely your email is or your domain is to getting flagged and the ESPs kind of starting to throttle your emails, which you really don't want, right? So if you've sent too many emails, this is another reason why you might soft bounce. Effectively, you sent too many emails and your ESP throttles them, or the email is too big or it violates the ESP's policies. So keep that in mind. Like I said, really important to segment. To clean your list and to segment those profiles properly. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. Like I said, my goal here is to make this retention process easier for you, your scaling process easier. This is a key step in that. And if you got any questions, please feel free to ping me either the link below or in the comments below, and I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks so much and have yourselves a great day.